The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in the cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to RAP Paranormal and Friends with your hosts,
Kim Purvis
and Allison Robinson. Make sure to check us out on our Facebook pages, RAP Paranormal and Friends and RAP Paranormal Busters, for up-to-date show information and events. Hey everyone, welcome to another night of RAP Paranormal and Friends. Sorry, we're running a little behind. We're having some technical difficulties, but here we are, and we have two lovely guests. We have Gina and Victoria from Haunted History BC on tonight. They are going to be discussing their new magazine called Evenings and Avenues, Hauntings in the Outskirts, and then, of course, other spooky things that they've been up to. So welcome back, ladies.
Hey, thanks.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. Hello. Not from the closet this time.
No, we're safe actually.
Oh my goodness. So you ladies have been pretty busy. You published your first magazine. It's the first ever kind in Canada, correct?
It is.
Yes, and then, I mean, you've been in the Feminine Macabre, and you've been in some of Troy Taylor's books. I mean,
yes,
you ladies are busy.
Oh, yeah, it's been kind of nuts. So, yeah, we've been just writing, taking pictures, going on ghost hunts, and it's been kind of never ending since the last time we talked. So, I think the last time we talked, we were just working on the book, and it took us a while.
Yeah, it's definitely been a whirlwind, that's for sure, and we didn't even expect it, to be honest.
Yes, well, I read the book, and it didn't take me too long because I was like just so involved in it. I mean, it was amazing, and the photography in there, you ladies did such a wonderful job.
Well, thanks. Yeah, no, it was really fun. It was fun to create, right? So, yeah, Victoria did all the layouts. So this is Gina, by the way. Hi to everybody who doesn't know who we are. And, we were on about a year and a half ago, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe last year. So it was a while ago.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And then, so we're kind of a two-woman show for all of it. So it was kind of an interesting process, but we were super excited when it got out there. And yeah, we're really thrilled with it. And now we're working on the second volume. So that's even more exciting.
Ooh, yes. I can't wait for that.
Sure.
Well, what was that?
That's for sure. We're actually working on it, and I think we might like to release it. That's the plan, just before the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
we got a second one, and yeah, so I think the cover, we're going to do a cover reveal here pretty soon, because it's been sort of blown a little bit, because we're inside Haunted Magazine. We have a kind of a little ad, and it shows like the second cover of the second volume. So we'll have to release that one here pretty soon. So.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. That's exciting. I can't wait to get my hands on that one as well. Now, do you want to discuss a little bit about this book? What made you want to do this, first of all, and how did you pick the stories that you put in there.
Go for it. I'll let my sister take this one.
Okay.
For sure. Okay, yeah, Victoria here. Well, I think the whole thing was from the beginning when we first started this, even about a couple of years ago, we kept wanting to do something where it showcases not only our essays, but also our photography in some ways. And first we were thinking it would be just a novel style kind of book. And then later on we kept, hemming and humming over how we want to actually do this. And we thought, well, hey, why don't we put together something that looks like a magazine, but a coffee table book? And I mean, a lot of people that we talked to, they kept asking us, so what are you going to do with all the photography? So this is how we were able to incorporate all the photos in here at the same time. Because, when you're visiting a place, you want to actually draw people in, make them feel like they're with you on this journey.
Right.
So it's the best way to do it is not only with the great writing style that comes actually from Gina, because she's so super creative with her writing and with her words and skills, but we wanted to also combine also the photography, so people are literally feeling like they're coming on this journey with us, and hopefully they're feeling spooked and just they're enjoying the stories too at the same time.
And I think too we wanted to we had so many locations we want to include that if we did like one giant book, it would be almost like too overwhelming. So we kind of came up with themes, which is kind of cool. So the first one was kind of like like kind of an overview of different haunted places. But then the second one will be really cool because it'll all be all about haunted architecture. Like we'll talk about like haunted buildings. Some of the architects have really cool and bizarre lives. Like there was one guy who was like killed by his wife's 18-year-old lover. And so their like backstories are really cool. So we want to kind of make
cool
all of that stuff because there's a lot of drama like in their own lives. And then there's the ghost stories that go along with the buildings that they built. So we kind of want to get into that. And then we thought, somewhere down the road, we want to like cover all the cemeteries and all of that sort of stuff. So it's like, it would have been too much for one publication. It just would have been. So we thought, well, let's just do kind of a magazine type thing because we researched and we thought, well, there's magazines in the paranormal in the UK and there's Australia and then there's, several in the US and all that good stuff. But there wasn't a Canadian one. So we thought, well, why not?
Yes. That's awesome.
We have ghosts in Canada. We have people who like to write about ghosts. And
yes, absolutely. And like I said, it's fantastic. So I just hope our listeners check it out because I really did like it and the pictures and everything. And then the history that you had in there. I was really intrigued by the story about the two boys that were found.
You know what? That one kind of draws people in. And that was, that was our visit to the Vancouver Police Museum, which, they say is the largest police museum in North America. So we didn't know that either going in. So we learn a lot too when we're on our adventures, right? So.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And then it was kind of nice. And people often ask, why do we keep the stories alive and why do we kind of trace back history? Well, a lot of it is to keep the stories alive. And oddly, just right as we sort of were wrapping up our volume, then is when it was discovered as to who they were. Like they finally got like some DNA through somebody who was searching, one of those like 23andMe or whatever those DNA sites are. And then they finally had a hit for these two boys where they still had the DNA in there. And so we were able to kind of match up who they were after, it was 70 years plus.
Right. Yeah.
It was a cold case. I mean, nobody kind of knew that they would ever solve it because they couldn't find the mom. But lo and behold, the mom was alive for quite some time. I think they said she died like in 1996 or something. So
yeah,
it's around. So it's too bad she's not around anymore because you kind of have to wonder like there was probably more to the story because.
Oh yeah.
She was alive, but she wasn't really speaking out either at the time. Like she wasn't saying, "Oh, I'm the mom of these two kids that disappeared." Or a lot of people were going, "Well, where is the mom? Where's the dad? Where's where are these people? Why wasn't there not a missing persons report?" Or
exactly, yeah, they were never reported missing, were they?
Yeah, no, and we might never know like the real, parts, that. But I think someday that'll be uncovered. There, there's a speculation that there's two dads in the picture. So maybe someday down the road, they'll uncover a bit more.
Yeah. And I hope they do. I mean, that was just very intriguing. I'm like, you'd think that family members would realize that, hey, where are your kids? Like,
Yeah.
why don't you have your kids? Where are they? Did she tell them some story that they went to go live with their father or one of their dads? Or you just
Yeah,
don't know.
and it was a different time, I think, when it was, when you're looking at things like the 30s, 40s, and 50s, there wasn't the internet and there wasn't, people could move and nobody would know, and you could sort of disappear and nobody would know. So it's like,
Yeah,
I think
true.
even if something happened, then if she relocated or moved somewhere or just didn't say anything, then, if you moved to a new town, nobody would know about who you are or
It's
what,
true.
So I don't know. I think it was kind of a unique time, and that's why a lot of things are now coming to the surface because we have the technology to kind of delve a little bit deeper. So
Absolutely. And then in the book, you also talk about, some different kind of like, I don't know if it's folklore or cryptids or what, but
creatures.
yes, your creatures. And it's like everybody has some type of Nessie, it seems like.
Definitely.
There's Nessie and Champ and what is the one? I forgot the one that's in your book. I'm drawing a blank.
Musty and Caddy.
That's right. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
we have Mussy, Caddy, and the Shuswagi.
Yes.
Yes, the other one. That one was a more recent one that we discovered as we were doing our research. So that was actually exciting to throw that one into the book as well.
Yes. Do you want to kind of enlighten our listeners as to what that is?
Oh, well, the Shuswagi is, now this one is actually interesting because apparently it's a sea serpent that's probably even about 50 feet long, but they describe it as having furry, like sort of like a fur on it, so it looks like sort of like a water bear. And people have actually been sighting this one back in the Shuswap Lake, so this is out in British Columbia. And it's basically like a family resort area where people go there for fishing and just boating and just having, great time by the water. But there have been a lot of sightings of that. And it dates back to the early 1900s. And to this very day, there are still sightings of this Shuswagi. So, it's interesting because I wouldn't mind actually going out there one day to take a look, right, Gina? That would be actually fantastic.
Yeah, because recently some fishermen saw something that looked like it was sort of like undulating, and people see like the little spikes on the back, and I don't know, there's something about the water that's very mysterious, like when you talk about the paranormal, because there's the creatures sort of fall into that, and there's there's been sightings for years back, and it's funny when people describe them, like we talked about, they're not being technology, but there's people describe them in very similar ways, so there's got to be something out there. We like to think that there's something.
Right,
well,
yeah.
This has been cited over like 40 years, apparently. People were seeing them. Even a man was fishing on the Shuswap Lake, and he spotted things as well swimming out there. And everyone seems to be seeing something, or something getting close to the boats or near, like the docks. And it makes you kind of wonder, because it's all through different periods of time, but people still see something.
Yeah, they swear it's not a fish. They say it's definitely not a fish, because especially a lot of fishermen who are out there, they're like, nope, definitely not a fish, because we know what fish look like and what's out the lake. But yeah, there's some creepy stuff. I'd love to see a creature one day. So ghosts are fascinating, but a creature would be great, like from a safe distance where you're not going to like freak out or,
Right, exactly.
I want to see a Bigfoot, but from a car, like safely from a car where I can take some pictures and then step on the gas.
Oh, and that's exactly, or I'd love to see the lizard man. That's also covered in our book as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's on the island. That's in our capital in Victoria. So that one's interesting too, because that dates back to 1972. People started seeing sightings of that one as well. So, and that one you can find on Thetis Lake, apparently.
Yeah. So, and
it looks like a man, but it's also looks like a little bit like a lizard. So it's interesting to find out about that too.
Yeah, he's supposed to be stocky, scaly, kind of humanoid. People have seen him like recently, like as recently as like 2011, like eating cat food like on a porch, or yeah. Some people got back from like a campsite and they said they saw like something like as big as a small boat that looked like lizard-like, and then it scampered into the water when it when they approached. And so I don't know, it's kind of, that sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I would love to see a creature too, and I've been telling Kim I want to go Bigfoot hunting. Haven't found a
Yeah.
group yet because I don't want to go tromping through some timber or forest or something by myself, not knowing what I'm doing. But I do want to do it. I think that would be fun to do, and I'm always looking like if I see bodies of water, or if I'm driving through a different state and see lots of trees, I'm like, oh, I wonder what kind of thing is living out there, or what I might see.
No, that'd be fascinating. Yeah, a good creature would be nice.
Yes.
Oh, Sasquatch too. That would be really cool to see, because I know that the place where Gina and I live, in that city, in that area, we do apparently have a lot of sightings, and it's an area called Pitt Lake. And I know Gina and her husband been out there already, but it'll be interesting to see if maybe we should do like some serious Bigfoot hunting, I think.
Yeah, there's sightings, there's UFO sightings out there, so there's a lot of creepy stuff out there that seems to recur over and over again. So we're very curious as to what's out there.
Yes. So if they're seeing UFO sightings and they're having Bigfoot sightings out there, do you think the two are connected?
Absolutely. I think I've just from even listening to people who are a little bit more knowledgeable. I mean, we haven't had that much experience with all that, just as far as research goes. But yeah, those two seem to go hand in hand. Like a lot of times when we listen to other shows and radio shows where people have seen Bigfoot and seen UFOs, they sort of seem to say the same thing. Like they've seen something in the sky first, and that they feel weird, or before the sighting, like before the Bigfoot sighting, they sometimes get some weird like some strange time slips, or they feel dizzy, or just something. Like they talk about the infrasound and all those kinds of things. So yeah, you just never know. Like it's just one of those things where those seem to be hand in hand a lot of the time. So there's something to that.
Gina, remember you discovered as well that the report from the police dating back to 1960. So that was actually very exciting for us, because we actually found a police report, and we've included that in the book too, because that goes,
I saw that. Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah,
because they talk about a Sasquatch ship. So even back then, like they had a terminology for it. So it's like, I don't know, there might be something that's we have to kind of go on the lookout. So there's a lot of just in our own backyard. We don't have to go too far a lot of times to discover something really mysterious.
Oh yeah, I think they're connected too. Whether they're one and the same, that I don't know, or if they maybe have some kind of friendship or something, but I definitely think they're interdimensional.
Yeah, a lot of people think like either Bigfoot's interdimensional, or he's an alien, or he's just something other than just an actual humanoid, because we're just assuming it's like or it's like a descendant from humans, but who knows what it is, and the fact that we can't find it, like, does it always live in the woods, or is it like go somewhere in the outer, just there's a lot of different things that could be, like maybe it's not always on Earth, like we're expecting like, oh, why do we go into the woods and never see it? Well, maybe it's not always in the woods.
Absolutely. Excuse me, that went down the wrong pipe.
No.
Have a little bit of wine, it went down the wrong pipe. Now I might have just inhaled a bug.
Oh God.
Excuse me. Oh my goodness. I'm a hot mess.
To be swallowing bugs and insects and everything.
I just get my protein, I guess. I got my fruit from the wine, and then I got my protein from the bug.
A nighttime snack.
Yeah, exactly. So, do you have any events or anything coming up, or?
Oddly, yes. I mean, we're pretty booked for October, and this time it was nice because people are kind of reaching out to us. So we're doing some readings from our book. So yeah, we'll be like downtown in Vancouver, and we'll be part of something called the Spooky Story Salon, and we'll be reading there. We'll have a table there. But yeah, we've also had some cool ghost hunts. So maybe I'll let my sister talk about the Overland Mansion, which is a place that we.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, for sure. That one, I think we went there about a couple months ago, and it's not so easy to get into because you have to make some special arrangements there. The mansion's not really open to the public, so it was exciting to actually be able to do this just on our own. We basically had the whole house to ourselves, but it was really interesting. I think that one was probably the best we've ever been, where we've had a lot of activity. And we just the minute we arrived, it was pretty wild because we thought somebody was probably waiting to greet us there, maybe open up the door. But as we were just hanging around, we were like, okay, where is everyone? But we thought we heard somebody.
We heard people, we saw
building.
people, and so we kept thinking like, oh, somebody's in there because we just saw somebody walk past, and there was nobody, which is really kind of interesting because it really surprised us when we had to call the person that was supposed to unlock it, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm just about 5 minutes away. So we're like, okay. Then what did we see and hear in there? Because we heard voices too. So we thought, and we saw a couple cars in the parking lot sort of next to the house. So we kind of just assumed like maybe there was an office or something, but no, it was completely empty, which is kind of strange.
It was, yeah. I remember too, when we were going through the building, when we were just snapping some photos, checking things out, I remember thinking I saw something fly around me, and I thought maybe, oh, that must have been just dust or like some sort of bug or something. But eventually, when Gina was snapping pictures too, she noticed that there was a orb around too as well.
Yeah,
and
like
I
a
thought,
little.
well, that's really peculiar because I haven't really actually heard of anyone seeing with their naked eye an orb. Usually you capture them on a photo or something like that, but it was pretty wild because I've seen it a couple times, but I thought nothing of it. I just brushed it off thinking that it might be nothing. But when we were reviewing our photographs, we were like, oh wow, like there's actually a distinct orb over there.
Yeah, because you never know.
And then that apparition that we saw just kind of standing next to me.
Oh yeah. In the photo, and we don't ever see any of the stuff with our naked eye, which is kind of interesting because you're there, but you see something sort of flitting by. But yeah, that was a really, it definitely had a vibe. And then this weekend when we went to downtown Vancouver, we went to an old building called the Dominion Building. It was built in the late 1800s, and there's a couple businesses that have their offices there, and they said, yeah, come and investigate, and we'll just kind of let you guys in. And it was a Sunday, so we were able to go in. And the coolest thing about this one was that we had, like with the REM pod, we actually had like a question and answer going, like where it would go off like to our questions. And the greatest thing is when you have people that don't ghost hunt but they're with you, actually witness it. And we had things going off on the EMF. We got a couple really creepy EVPs. One was the kids laughing in the background, like in a hallway. We could hear it with our ears when we were talking, but we were kind of doing the is anybody here with us type of a thing. And then you hear like a creepy kid's laughter, and I'm not kidding, it is so spooky.
Yeah, it is.
And like nobody was in there, it was like empty, and and it was really echoey sort of too, and it was a really echoey building because it had like this 13 floor like spiral staircase. We posted like the spiral staircase in the pictures on our Instagram, but holy smokes, was that ever a really strange building. It was really cool to get activity, and it didn't take long. Like it was probably like 5 minutes after we set up our gear, stuff started going off. So we're all super shocked because I thought, okay, we're going to be standing around and like nothing's going to be happening. But no, it was kind of like the shows you see. I'm not even kidding.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. And that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen too often, but I always notice that when Kim and I go on an investigation, it seems like when we're setting up things, we get a crap ton of activity. And as soon as we get stuff set up, it's like crickets chirping. I'm like, seriously? We've been trying to be good about keeping some things on while we're setting up, but
yeah, and we tried really hard to video some stuff when it's going off. And the great thing is the people who invited us had videos going too. And, they caught the whole thing. And the thing is, when they interviewed us, we had REM pods and stuff sitting around. And not only did they go off like when we were actually trying to communicate, but during the interview, stuff went off. So we got it.
Remember, Gina, we actually were we were introducing ourselves.
Yes.
And right at that moment, then the REM pod went off as well.
Well, and if they brought up like a history of the building or something, like the thing went off, and like we would ask like if it's kids or. So that was a really cool one just this past weekend. Nobody's, I don't think, actually been in that building to like really in-depth investigate. So there have been stories of hauntings, but yeah, it was really, really cool just to be able to go there and have like, you know, 2 or 3 other people actually witness. And we had like responses to the ghost box, which were super clear. And so it was just a really, really, really cool
amazing.
one. Oh yeah, no, that one really is going to
amazing.
stand out. We want to go back there because I think
For
there's
sure.
more. I think there's more to the story.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And for them to be able, if nobody else has really been in there, for them to interact the way they did with you, that's pretty
Mm.
amazing. Because a lot of times you may not get that, or they may not understand, so you may get a little bit here and there. But usually, I mean, from what we've experienced, sometimes it takes a little bit for them to kind of understand or warm up the
Yeah.
idea. So
Well, we
that's
were
very awesome.
they kind of went, yeah, and we moved it to different parts. Some places we got nothing. Some places we got a lot of activity. They
Mhm.
said like between the 7th and 8th floor, the floor there was, you know, sometimes people reported things, but we got a little bit there, but not that much. They sort of warmed up and they said that they were there, but yeah, after that it sort of quieted down and we didn't hear a whole heck of a lot
Right.
after that between. But yeah, the top floor, which ironically they're on the 13th floor.
Oh, jeez.
You know,
But it
so
is.
but yeah, that was a really, really good one. So that was really kind of spooky. I'd like to go back or like at night if we could turn off the lights.
for
Oh my
sure.
God.
Ooh.
I know,
Yeah.
because I think there was probably some kids, but also there was, I think, a man as well over there too.
Well, we had
So
that
we
lady's voice on
recorded
the
that voice.
yeah, the woman's
Yeah.
voice on the EVP when she said
Mhm.
hello. Yeah, these are
That
super
too,
clear
see?
too, which was really kind of eerie. Like,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, you don't get very clear EVPs and stuff very
No,
often.
I think it's better at like being able to like figure out how we can post stuff online to that because I just never know how to like download from my digital recorder so people can hear it. But we're
I
gonna
don't
have
know how to do it either.
yeah, maybe we're gonna have a friend like help us with that. He's pretty techy, and you know, so we
Mhm.
do go on investigations with him sometimes, and he can probably help us how to so we can post some of this like either to our website or yeah, because they're really, really. It's exciting when you get one, and you almost freak out like every you know when you hear it super clear.
It's like a kid on Christmas or on
It
their
is.
birthday. You know, they're just
Oh,
you're
we were all
just
standing around. Then we heard it. We were like, ah! We kind of all freaked
We're all
out. And
freaking out. I know. I know. It was great.
you can't help it but freak out when you get something like that. So
no.
that's awesome.
So where have you guys been lately? Have you guys been anywhere cool? Like we see your posts and like.
We haven't done anything lately just because we've been very busy. Well, I'm very
Our
busy with
daughter's
my
been
kids'
busy.
activities. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's homecoming weekend this weekend and cross country meets and volleyball. So,
Mm. Yeah, I
but
can't believe it's the end of September already. Like, what's going on there?
I know, oh my gosh. But this weekend we are going to Granger House, which is a very cool place to go to.
Oh, excellent.
Then the following
The
weekend,
following weekend, we're having the memorial for my cousin at
Mhm.
Melbourne because that was her favorite place to investigate.
Mhm.
And her daughters and her sisters are coming.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So, and then the week after that will be at Edinburgh Manor, which is another cool place.
That
Oh, that sounds.
Edinburgh,
It's
and
an
then
yeah.
then we got at Bango,
Yeah,
which is a celebration for a friend of ours that passed away.
yeah. So yeah, October is a very busy month for us, but I think you ladies would really enjoy Granger. There's a lot of history there.
Mm-hmm.
But also Edinburgh is also a very unique place because it was a poor farm and then it was
Oh,
an
yeah.
insane asylum.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So
All right. It's definitely something interesting.
yes, and kitty corner from there is an old cemetery. I mean, they have very old stones there, and Kim has gotten flowers, and we have placed it.
There are 36 stones. We place 36 flowers.
Yeah,
Every time we
Wow.
go.
Nice.
yeah, but yeah, but that's what we have going on for the year, and
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah, our next big location will be the middle of October, and we're actually heading into the interior a little bit. And there's a haunted hotel and a theater and everything. So we're going to be there for 3 days, which is going to be amazing.
wow,
Another paranormal group, so that's going to be really, really cool. So
yeah,
yeah, it's going to be
let's
like
hear about that.
Yeah, ghosts galore. So we've never like done like that many days in one location, but it'll be cool because we'll be, yeah, seeing some movies about the place that our friends have kind of shot already
Well,
because
it'll be
they
new territory for us, right? It'll be new
completely,
territory.
yeah,
Yeah.
completely new. And so yeah, several buildings in that town are supposed to have, some really good activity. So we're
Oh,
kind of
wow.
looking forward to that. So that'll be really nice.
Yes, that's one thing I'd like to do. We have never done a theater.
Oh,
I've
theater.
watched people do that on TV and things, and you know, seems
Yeah,
very interesting.
theaters seem to have a reputation for being haunted. I think because a lot of them are probably really old and yeah,
Yes.
a lot of history, a lot of people who have come and gone, and just
A
think
lot of
about
energies.
yeah, a lot of energy. Just think about
Mm-hmm.
like they have performances and people are excited and you're having a good
Right.
time, and a lot of people just I think a lot of people who are actors like probably lived their lives like some of their best moments at a movie theater when you're with your colleagues and you're doing a performance. There's nothing quite like that sort of energy. So
Right.
I think they kind of linger because that's a really good spot for them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Now,
then you hear the
yes.
mystery guests that are always in the
Mhm.
oftentimes are in there. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they're still watching all the shows.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we went to the Stanley Theater, remember? We went, that was about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
It
we
was
went.
doing a fundraiser, and that was really cool because we had a whole group of paranormal groups out there,
Yeah.
and they were showcasing everything they were doing. But at the same time, we were able to actually do a little bit of, investigations and some spirit box sessions, and then we even had a psychic over there. It was fantastic.
It was yeah, the Stanley Theater in downtown Vancouver. So that was that had some stuff going on. That's for sure.
Wow. I did watch. Okay, so oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank of what his name is, but he's from the show Knock Knock Ghost, and he's from Canada. They did a couple theaters, but I can't remember exactly which ones.
Yeah, because if it was on the West Coast, East Coast, I know has a lot of things that are haunted, like so.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but when you were talking about that, I'm like, wait a minute, they did one, but I couldn't. I don't remember if they did the Stanley or not. But excuse me. Now besides your magazine that you're working on, is there anything else you ladies will be publishing or be helping or be?
Yes. Well, oddly, yeah, we are. Well, like yes, and we're in the volume 4 of the Feminine Macabre, so we have our story there. The essay is their stories are told in branches and bones, so that's a really cool one. Yeah, the Troy Taylor one coming out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a New Orleans issue, so that'll have a cool spooky ghost story in there.
Ooh.
And we have another article coming out. It's in American Paranormal magazine, so it'll be about Beacon Hill Park, which is in Victoria, BC, our capital, and it's about a doppelganger ghost. So that will be. So we keep like putting out articles. So those are the things that where we have stuff going on. So if people want to catch anyone, of course we're going to post about them too. So if anyone wants to know like where to get them, where to buy them, that type of thing. So yeah, but we've got some cool stuff that we've had a chance to write about in some shorter articles, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome. That's I did see that you had posted about the Troy Taylor one and stuff, but yeah, you ladies keep busy with all that stuff, and then of course I'm always watching, and you guys are always taking. There's such beautiful photography, and it looks like it's such a. I've never been to Canada or any area like that, but the pictures I see, it looks very pretty in some areas.
Oh yeah, no, it's really beautiful up here, and we are very very lucky. I mean, we are living in a beautiful place, and I know that people get stressed out from time to time and all that, and everything's feeling a little crunchy out there in the world. But you just kind of get outside and you just appreciate where you are, and that's I think a lot of our roaming around does that. It's kind of like our therapy. Like you can go out there, you can enjoy. Beautiful natural surroundings. You can enjoy a beautiful historic building and appreciate it. And just, this past weekend we went on that walk through Stanley Park, right?
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one was very educational. We went through different areas of the trails, and we went along something where we call it's a seawall, and it's like right by the water there. And a lot of interesting kind of creepy history too. And I didn't even realize that some of the areas of the park actually still had a lot of grave sites over there, and people just built all over them, which is kind of a sad thing. But you know, there was that treasure apparently that we didn't even know about. There was a bank robbery that was back in the 1960s, and then some bunch of bank robbers apparently they hid treasure along a certain trail, so you never know, and nobody ever found it yet.
People
so
still look for it, and then there was like Dead Man's Island, and we kind of have some cool walking tours. So I think if people like always ask us like, so you know, how do you find out about all this stuff? You know, just look for the walking tours like in your towns too, because especially this time of year, people have a lot of you know, ghostly tours, and you can just really learn about history that way. They can, you know, some exciting, cool, sort of darker history, but it's kind of an interesting way just to learn about a whole area. So we would encourage to go.
Museums as well too. Museums are a great source of information too.
Oh yeah.
And the local museums here are putting on events, of course, during the spooky season. So they're pulling out all the paranormal groups and having them come out and showcase what they're doing.
Oh wow, that's
it's
cool.
We
don't have anything exciting like that here in town.
Nobody doing a ghost walk. See, maybe you guys need to start up a little ghostly tour. People ask us if we do tours all the time, and so we haven't ventured into that yet. But you know, it'd be kind of nice to invite people along. Maybe next time we do a ghost hunt, like just, you know, people who aren't necessarily paranormal investigators, but they just kind of want to come along.
We've been sort of doing that a little bit, right?
Oh,
we have like friends of friends come out because they wanted to see like what we're up to, what we're doing. So in a way, we sort of dabbled in that, and we've actually managed to get some people out with us. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'm kind of afraid to do a ghost tour here in town. I don't know what kind of crazy people will have lined up.
The way things have been going lately, no, not here in this town.
Yeah, that's a little sketchy.
Don't know if you're going to get shot or not anymore.
Yeah, that's.
Oh my.
Right. Yeah, it's a little.
You don't want to become a ghost. You just want to.
Yeah.
You know.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it gets a little bit more eerie when it gets closer to Halloween too.
Oh yeah, because it gets dark earlier, so you start roaming around to different things, and yeah, it's kind of, it gets like the mood is really great in October.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I know. I would like to. I know in Illinois, which is about 3 hours,
3.5 hours.
Yeah, about 3.5 hours from here. They do ghost tours, which I've thought about going down there to check out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they have some interesting ones, and they usually have a Halloween parade too.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
it's all it's at night, so everything's lit up in the parade, and it looks really cool. A lot of people dress up to come to the parade. So yeah, that's another place I'd like to get to. We were gonna do that this year, but my daughter has cross country that day, so that's not gonna happen. Damn sports!
In a couple weeks, we're going to do something that's called Pumpkins After Dark. So it's kind of like a spooky setup. So, and it's all these like 1,000 or more carved pumpkins and things that are.
Oh no! I think didn't they say 6,000?
Oh, something like that. It's like a lot of pumpkins, and it's all set up all spooky. So yeah, and there's a lot of ghostly tales in this particular part of the city, so there's a lot of mansions and different things, so it'll be kind of a cool thing to go to as well. So yeah, we have a pretty packed schedule.
Oh yeah, I would say so. Oh my goodness.
But it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Excuse me. Okay, so before we kind of start wrapping things up, where can they purchase your new publication? Where can they buy your magazine?
Oh, well, we're actually on a lot of our local bookstores in British Columbia, some independent bookstores. But if you just go onto our website, hauntedhistorybc.com, and if you go over there, you can find a link as well, like to some of the bookstores. I mean, that we would appreciate it too. If people want to purchase through there, you're supporting them as well.
Because a lot of them.
Yeah, and then you can also reach us as well. You can just email us, and we can do PayPal, e-transfer. That's just as good as well, too.
Yeah, so we've been just doing that. People just email us and say, because, yeah, we don't really have like a traditional shopping platform where there's a cart and you check out and all of that. We're not that fancy, but Yeah, and I think I will put it out on Amazon at some point. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
yet because Amazon takes such a huge chunk of your money that
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they do.
I've just not been too crazy about. We had our first two publications out there, our calendars where we did them, but yeah, they just take so much, and it's like it's so much nicer when we can just sort of directly ship to people. So we either ship for free a lot of times, or we can just ship for like a really nominal amount. Yeah, and we have been. Yeah, we've shipped all over the place. We've shipped to the UK, to the States, to all across Canada. So yeah, people can just email us and let us know.
Okay, perfect. Yep, and I just shared the link. So anybody who's listening, if you check in our chat, I did share the link, their website, so you can go on there to check it out as well. So, and then we will also obviously post it on our social media and everything, because we do like to help our friends and get the word out and spread everything as much as we can and help support. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, we appreciate
awesome.
being back again. It's been nice to chat again and everything. So
I know it took us a little bit this time. I mean, I think last time it did a little bit too. Victoria had to do it from a closet, and this time she's not. She didn't get stuck in a closet this time.
Yeah, no closets. But yeah, there's always sometimes a technical issue, but that's okay.
Gosh.
We got here. We all got.
It wouldn't be our show if we didn't have some kind of technical difficulty. It's just, oh my gosh. Sometimes I just want to take Kim's computer and just chuck it at a wall, but then I know then she'd beat me for it. But
No,
Ghost
you just buy a new one.
I'll just say the ghost did it. Anyways, I'd like to give shout outs real quick to everybody who is in chat. We had Nico, Shay, Darren, myself, and Kim in chat. For all those that you weren't in chat but listening, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you check out their website, Haunted History BC. Check out what these lovely ladies are doing. Check them out on Twitter. You have Facebook, right? I don't have Facebook, so
We don't have Facebook. We're on Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, so they have Instagram and Twitter, so go check them out there, and make sure you grab a copy of their new book, Evenings and Avenues: Hauntings in the Outskirts. I got that right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sometimes I get words, mixed up and whatever, but anyways, thank you ladies so much for being on, and thank you everybody for joining us. Peace out.
Okay, have a spooky season.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. Have a good one.
Bye.